order the June 20th, 2022 regular meeting of the Haywood County Board of Commissioners. Our first order of business will be a pledge of allegiance, and after that I'll ask Pastor Josh Frazier to come forward for the invocation. Regular, please stand for the pledge.
Let us pray. God in heaven, we thank you for a day to be able to come and look at different plans, strategic plans, and ideas to help better our county. I thank you for each person who's put in time and effort to make this place a better place, to keep our place safe, and to make all the various decisions that come in and through this area. We ask that you would give guidance and wisdom in every decision that's made. We thank you for the opportunity to live where we live, such a beautiful area. We pray that we are diligent as good stewards to keep it that way. We pray all this in your name. Amen.
Okay, our next order of business is public hearings, and we have a public hearing for approval of amendments to the following ordinances in the county of Haywood, North Carolina, code ordinances. We have Chapter 10, which is general provisions, Chapter 30, which is departments, boards, and commissions, Chapter 51, which is reimbursement agreements, Chapter 52 is animal services, or 91 is animal services, Chapter 93 is the mobile home, which is to repeal proposed, and Chapter 94 is 9/11 services, repeal proposed. And Frank Queen, our county attorney, will be here to represent that. Go ahead, Frank. You want to do it there? Or? Okay.
Good afternoon. What you're seeing is the very beginning of a process that's going to take months. We're reviewing in detail both the language and the functionality of the county ordinances. And so we just started with some short ordinances that are fairly easy to deal with, and then we're going to be wading into a chapter at a time. Very detailed look at modernizing, upgrading, updating, making consistent different ordinances, that every one of the ordinances of the county and the county ordinance book. At the end of that process, when will that be, Tracy? By the end of the calendar year, she says, we'll then submit the revised ordinances, all of them, to be recodified, that is, to be republished in a consistent form that'll be available in print and online, and so that's what we're starting with today. These have been online for 2 weeks? Since June the 8th. And have we had any comments come in? Not a one. I'm going to take you through each of these sections and give you one sentence at a time or two about what has been changed. Every one of you has what we call a red line version, which is the original text with underlines for adds and lines drawn through for eliminations. In the first one that we'll look at is called Chapter 10, General Policies, and the only changes, general provisions it's called, the only changes made here are stylistic. If you hand an English major some language, they're going to change the style, and that's what I've done. So aside from that, there's literally no substantive change in it at all. Questions about Chapter 10? Chapter 30 is called Departments, Boards, and Commissions, which is really an interesting chapter as I encountered it, because it doesn't describe any departments, boards, or commissions except the planning board. And then all I did to it was Okay, chapter 51 is called Reimbursement Agreements. This is a great chapter. It's been really hacked at by me because the original stunk. You couldn't figure out what it was doing. Half of it was contradictory, and so I recast it and fixed it. And it's easy to deal with because we've never used it since it was passed in 1980. When was it? First passed in 2016. It authorizes the county to reimburse a developer, private entity that constructed public infrastructure in the process of doing something that the developer was doing already. Okay. So, for example, if you had an ordinance that required a developer to increase the size of a sewer line to serve a new subdivision, you don't have an ordinance to do that. But if you did have one, you could have a reimbursement agreement so that the county would reimburse the developer after the fact for having done that public improvement. We don't have that kind of an ordinance, and we've never undertaken a reimbursement project ever. So there it is. If you ever need it, I've improved the language of it. You can kind of now halfway understand it if you know what it's about. Questions about an ordinance that you've never used ever? Chapter 91 is animal services. This is the first fat ordinance that we looked at to modernize our director of animal services here too. Our Mark for to answer any substantive questions is here. What you've got is fundamentally a improvement of some language throughout. There's been some definitional adds to it to make the ordinance consistent with state law and to make it consistent with other provisions of the ordinance. There's a whole section of 2 sentences that's been, this is not really obvious right off the bat. If you go over about the 4th or 5th page, it's at the bottom of the page, number 20. You'll see a section called Standards for Chain. It looks like it's been taken out. It hasn't been. It's been rephrased and moved over and enlarged in the previous page on 91.02a. There's a whole section now that more accurately and sensibly describes tethering a dog. Okay, it's got very specific provisions that are consistent with the administrative regulations of the state that have to do with these issues, and Howard's done a great job of getting that brought into the right place and made consistent with other laws that we have to enforce. And that is an example, I think, of that you'll see as we go through a lot of the ordinance revisions that will come, and that will be we will change our local ordinance to bring it into conformity with either state law or state regulation on the same subject, so that people who are dealing with this subject deal with a consistent body of law or regulation. You don't have an argument being made. You're being inconsistent with state law. That's one of the purposes of revisiting these ordinances, is to bring them into conformity with state law and regulation that's already out there, so you don't have this confusion. And so there's a lot of moving around, I would say, and then I would say there's been lots of adds by definitional stuff. I don't think there's really much in the way of the actual substantive change beyond reorganization. Questions about animal control? Finally, we have 2 that we're getting rid of. Chapter 93, called mobile homes, that had a reference to registering mobile homes and getting a sticker for them, which people who live in mobile homes or used to live in mobile homes will recognize. You got this annual sticker that showed you pay property tax on the thing. They don't have that anymore.
the state legislature.
Yes, the state eliminated the authority to do it the way the local ordinance was doing it. Questions about any of this now? It's not going to be this easy in future ones. The future ones, the ones who are coming too, we'll try to give you a softball and then a hardball maybe every meeting or every couple of meetings, just so you can keep up with it. But, and I think it's fairly easy to follow along with these red lines. That you can see the changes that are being made right there. And if we made a mistake, I think publicizing ahead of time, publishing on the website, the affected people, the folks who have a concern will be able to see and speak up about it. Okay.
Any questions?
So I'll have to open this up right now for public hearing.
Yeah, now you hear from the public.
Okay, would anyone like to address item 1 in the public hearings? Under public hearings, would anyone like to address any of the ordinances that Frank just spoke about? Okay, seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing, and we'll vote on this at our next meeting. Speak. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Well, we didn't get started very quick either. So, and I will say we were having technical difficulties. If people are watching, or whenever they do watch this, it'll probably be a different quality. So that's because of our technical issues. So go ahead, Vicki. Just state your name and maybe where you're from.
Yeah, I'm Vicki Rogers.
And you can pull that down.
I'm Vicki Rogers, and I live on Francis Farm Road. And I'm speaking to you as a citizen, not on the fire department board of Junaluska Fire Department. I resigned as treasurer at the annual meeting. It was quite a barnstormer. It was quite disturbing. And to be honest with you, I'm not feeling real safe talking to you today. Threats are made. It's just part of it. And honestly, guys, I was only trying to be a good treasurer. Just following the rules and what I was basically told to do about spending, but making sure that I felt like it was managed well. But you got some real problems. People walked in that we didn't know who they were. I don't know if they were legal voters or not in our District 18, because there were 5 or 6 people that looked around and said, "Who are these people?" I knew that we had 16 people that I knew, but we had a total of about, I think it was 38 counted. And the intent was to throw off 3 members of the board to put on 3 others that basically the leadership wanted. So I guess I've spoken too much, and therefore I refuse to serve on that board right now. Perhaps in another year I might find myself running for re-election again. But those bylaws need to be looked at. We tried to do that. We were fought on that. Just everything we tried to do to sort of smooth things out became a real problem because people didn't want change. So anyway, I just wanted to make my comments. I thank you for the I-40 information for Mr. Moorhead, but I can't do anything about it now. That was the problem. See, I was never getting the contractual information. I was just being said, pay this, pay that, pay that. So I don't know what the answer is, but wow, I've been amazed at these fire department ways that they're run independently, So, thank you.
Do you need to comment on that, Brian, at all, on the fire department?
I've talked separately with Ms. Rogers and have some information we're trying to track down.
Hey, would anyone else like to address the board? I'll close the public comment. Thank you for your comments, Vicki. Appreciate you coming out. Okay, we'll move to constituent concerns. Does anyone have anything that they want to mention? Or Jennifer, do you want to start anything? You or Kirk?
No, that's concerning to me. I think I'd like to look into that a little bit more. I know we don't have that much control over the fire departments and how they're run, but it is concerning with issues like that. So,
No, I think I call Mr. Moorhead at least once a day, so we've got them all resolved. So thanks.
Okay. You got anything, Tommy?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we'll move to administrative agency reports and presentation. Today we have our library strategic plan for 2022 through 2027, and Susan Trahan, the Library Board of Trustees, Vice Chair, will be here to present that. I hope I didn't butcher your name.
It's Susan Trahan. You were correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so good evening. I'm Susan Trahan, the Vice Chair of the Library Board of Trustees. Thank you for allowing me to present regarding the library's 2022 to 2027 strategic plan, which will serve as a blueprint to inform library services and operations for the upcoming 5 years. As we were drafting the new plan, we wanted to be sure we're contributing to the county's mission and vision, emphasizing adapting to meet the needs of the future while providing the highest quality of service to the residents of Haywood County. We've considered the community's outcomes, we've considered the county's community outcomes. Our libraries provide safe and secure facilities or third places after work and home. Library resources and events provide healthy living opportunities, and libraries contribute to a sense of place, which are vital components of the county's social infrastructure. Additionally, the library contributes to the county's governance outcomes. The library's partnerships with many community organizations enable us to offer a large variety of events and programs for residents of all ages. Libraries strive for accountability by providing transparency in all operations. The library system is data-driven, collecting daily and monthly statistics to inform leaders in decision-making. And libraries are staffed with a top-tier workforce who focuses on providing excellent customer service to library cardholders and the public. We started this strategic planning process by reviewing the outcomes of the prior plan, and I'm proud to report that the library has accomplished the vast majority of the objectives put forth in 2017. You have a report that details those results. The objectives that weren't achieved are those which would have required facility improvements, such as multi-use spaces for children and teens, and improved parking. As we initiated the new planning process, we kept in mind the fact that a thriving library is an indication of a vibrant community. So along those lines, I wanted to present some top-level statistics. And so these statistics are for the past 11 months, so July of 2021 through May of 2022. We had 1,325 new library card holders. We had print circulation of nearly 138,000 items, and 37% of that was for juveniles. So that's almost 51,000 books that were put into the hands of the county's young people. The door count was in excess of 122,000. Library website use was nearly 48,000. There were over 32,000 requests for information. Digital book circulation was over 66,000. And at the library programs, they were attended by adults, 6,846 adults and 9,623 children. There were 331 community meetings held at the libraries with 3,874 attendees. So the libraries are heavily used by our county community. During the pandemic, digital circulation increased by 40% and accounted for roughly half the volume of print circulation. Those nearly 70,000 checkouts of ebooks and audiobooks aren't even reflected in the door counts. The library reaches the county's children and encourages early literacy through circulation and programs, including the summer reading program, which is going on now. So in early 2021, the trustees developed a methodology for updating the strategic plan. We wanted to get input from community members, card holders, library staff, and to utilize guidelines from the NC State Public Library Standards. We started by reviewing and updating the library's mission and vision statements. Then, in the middle of 2021, we conducted a month-long community input survey, which was online and available for pickup at all of the library branches, the Senior Resource Center, and the Waynesville Recreation Center. In the latter part of 2021, we evaluated the survey results and conducted in-person listening sessions at each of the 4 branches. In the first quarter of this year, we used the input received to develop strategic priorities and objectives, which were reviewed and refined by library staff and the Board of Trustees. We're wrapping up the process by presenting the plan to you for approval. The 5 top-level goals are broad, and we've documented flexible objectives and sample activities for each priority. The top-level priorities are intended to remain constant during the plan period, but the objectives and activities may be adjusted in response to changing community needs. Each stated goal begins with the letter E. The Library Board of Trustees utilize the E's of libraries from the American Library Association to promote public awareness of all that today's libraries help facilitate. So, what are the new goals? The first goal is to enhance experience, which means creating opportunities for discovering of information, education, and collections in user-focused facilities. We'll focus on services and programs, facilities, digital and print collections, and policies and procedures. The second goal is to enlighten and engage, which means promoting and extending services to meet community needs, reaching the underserved, and increasing community awareness of the library and its provided services. The third goal is to encourage partnerships, which is partnering with library supporters and county officials, educational institutions, and community organizations to advocate for, support, and enhance opportunities. This includes partnering with the Friends of the Library and the Library Foundation, and also local businesses and educational institutions. The fourth goal is to equip staff, which is ensuring that the staff has the tools to provide excellent customer service and to support professional growth. The fifth and final goal is to ensure progress by developing a forward-thinking strategy for library facilities and technology updates to support operations, community impact, and future development. We have drafted a comprehensive plan, which will be available on the library's website, and also a condensed version that will be available at each of the branches that people can just pick up if they want a quick look at it. So the next steps. The plan for 2022 through 2027 provides a flexible framework for the library system to transform and enrich libraries with community-focused collections, programs, and services. The plan identifies many sample activities, including expanding communication about and access to existing services, physical updates to the library facilities, expanding the use of outdoor spaces, keeping our technology up to date, and many other items. As author Eric Kleinenberg states, the library really is a palace. Public institutions such as libraries are vital parts of the social infrastructure. Libraries stand for and exemplify something that needs defending, the public institutions that serve as bedrocks of civil society. So we thank the community members, library patrons, and library employees who helped us develop the plan. We also thank you, the commissioners, for your consideration of the 5-year library strategic plan and for your continued support of the library system. Thank you. Are there any questions?
Got any questions? I know, Kirk, you serve on that board.
I don't have any questions. We went through this Wednesday. We meet once a month, the third Wednesday of each month. And tonight there's 5 board members here and 3 staff members here present to support the presentation. And I would like to say for the board that I serve on, it's extremely thoughtful, conscientious, engaged board. I'm really impressed every time I go to the board meetings, the questions that are asked and the thought that's put into each and every decision that's made. It's a great group to hopefully lead us into maybe some changes to the library, some renovations. I will say this, we were talking the other night, and it's kind of funny, and there's a lot of programs that are put on too. And so this fellow named Professor Whizpop came last week, and so we were kind of having fun with the fact that who's Professor Whizpop, and he drives a Whizmobile or whatever. But I think it was 350 people came to see Professor Whizpop at the Methodist Church. So, you know, we think we're important. We're sitting here with 25 people out there, but Professor Whizpop gets 350. So those are the kind of programs that they are, you know, trying to instill and get. They had 100 people at a book reading one evening. So our community, you know, they really enjoy this type of thing. And the other thing is, I think we'll point out, and Susan didn't point out, you know, we have 4 library branches: the Waynesville, the Canton Library, the Fines Creek Library, the Maggie Valley Library. Canton Library has a very nice garden that they have out there. That it's a community garden. It gets a lot of support from the people in Canton, and there are numerous volunteers that support the libraries in Waynesville and Canton and Fines Creek and Maggie Valley. So it's something you don't really get to see a lot, but there are a lot of people in our county that really participate in that and benefit from the libraries. And I really appreciate the board and Susan's presentation this evening.
Yeah, I've got a question, I guess, or a comment. I noticed on the numbers that you reported the door counts were like 122,240, and then the website use was 47,758, and then the computer use was 5,261. What does those numbers tell us? I mean, I was a little surprised when I looked at them. I figured the website would be more than the actual door count numbers. But then I looked and I thought, well, the website use at 47,000, but only the computer use was 5,261. So can you speak to that?
I'll let Kathy speak to those details.
Hi. Can you bring that slide back up?
Yes.
Okay. So our door counts are tracked with electronic gates that sit at each of our entry and exit points, and they count each person that exits and enters. I would love to update that software at some point. The gates are a little old at this point. They're probably about 13 years old, and there is more sophisticated door counting technology now that's mounted on the ceiling. But I digress. So what else were you asking about? Website use. Those are hits on our website, and Joey Webb could probably tell you exactly how that works more so than I can from a technological standpoint. Computer use. Those are people who come in and use our public computers. So IT tracks that data for us and gives us that data each month, and we report that to the board. Information requests, we record those at each of our circulation desks. So it's not just people asking where are the restrooms. Any directional type questions we do not record. Those are actually requests for information if someone comes in and asks us to help with research, for example, or if they ask us to find a book for them, a specific book, or to place holds for them. Those are the actual information requests that we record.
Do you see a lot of people coming into the library just to use the Wi-Fi there, or do you notice how many sitting in the parking lot, or do you keep track of that in any ways?
We do. IT, again, gives us those statistics each month. A lot of people use our Wi-Fi from the parking lot, so we don't always see people. Like a lot of times when I come in the morning, there are people sitting there in their cars, and you know that's what they're doing. And that's very heavily used at all 4 of our branches. So we're very grateful to have that 24/7 Wi-Fi because it's available to people to use anytime.
Sure. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
What are your hours? Can you?
Yeah. So in Waynesville and Canton, we're open Monday and Wednesday 9 to 6. Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, we're open 9 to 5. And on Saturday, we're open in Waynesville from 9 to 5. And then Maggie Valley is open Monday and Wednesday, 9 to 5, and Fines Creek is open Monday and Wednesday, 9 to 5, and Maggie Valley is open Tuesday and Thursday from 9 to 5.
And then, are you open on Sunday?
We are not. We
Okay.
were open in Canton for part of a day pre-pandemic. Door counts at this point haven't supported adding back those additional hours, but we continue to monitor that.
Okay, okay. Well, I know when we interview for people to serve on the library board, they always brag on how good the library operates and everything. So, and they're coming from other parts of the country, and I don't think they're just saying that. I think they truly believe or understand and see that it's, you know, a very good library system, and they're always bragging on how advanced we are and everything like that. So it makes me feel proud. And I know we're looking at the building, I think, soon, right?
Yes, we are.
You want to comment on that, Brian? What?
We've recently asked our financial advisors to look at a debt affordability analysis, kind of piggybacked with the jail. Just got those documents in last Thursday. Haven't really had a chance to go through them in depth, but we looked at basically about $10 million. We have estimates for renovation at around $8 million, and so we just asked them to look at what $10 million would do to our debt if we were going to just do new construction on site.
Okay. Well, I'll give you all a little bit of an update then and stuff. I know you've been asking for it for a while, so I appreciate y'all's patience.
Thank you.
So, okay. All right. Does anybody have anything else? Okay. And I know we'll be voting on this later, right?
Correct.
In the meeting. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone that came out, too. That means a lot. Okay, next order of business is discussion or adjustment to the agenda. Does anyone have anything? I do not. Okay. We'll move on to the consent agenda. There are 12 items on the consent agenda. Does anybody have any questions on any of those?
Not really a question, but maybe a comment as well. I know that item number 12, I think it's maybe related to Travis, is for the drone, and maybe for the public's information. Maybe if you don't mind to come up and explain what we'll use this drone for, just so the public's aware of it. That's okay.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good idea. I can see how a drone would really help you, especially when you're hiking through the mountains.
Yeah, it definitely makes things easier for us. To go into a little bit of detail on that, the money became available through an actual grant through the state here at the end of the year. The drone itself has thermal capabilities, able to see heat, see people if it's nighttime, trying to locate missing hikers, assist law enforcement, assist fire departments, as well as search and rescue teams here in the county. That, to my knowledge, is the only one in the county that will have that capability. It's also got some really neat features with GPS coordinating with pinpoint accuracy through an actual laser system. So you see something down the ground, you can actually aim the laser at whatever you're trying to look at, and it'll tell you the exact location of whatever item that is down the ground. It would have been really beneficial to have this back here in the floods to be able to get a quicker bird's eye view as what was going on, the damage assessments, as well as looking for missing individuals. So that's kind of the nuts and bolts of that.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. I just thought it was important for the folks to know that we've got one, or we've got plans to have one, and we're using ARPA money to fund that. So thank you.
Yes, sir.
And then, you go.
What's the range on the zone? I mean, the drone range on the zone drone.
That's actually line of sight as far as 107 license for the actual operator.
Okay.
Got to have line of sight to be able to actually fly and be legal with it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And then, so I think you said it detects heat, so you can see a person or I guess an animal even too.
Yes, sir. It does have thermal imaging capability. So if you're looking for somebody missing in the woods or a lost juvenile or something like that, that resource is available and ready for deployment here inside the county.
And then on Kirk's question, so the person has to be able to see it that's using it?
Technically, if you're abiding by the regulations that govern the actual operators, yes, it's line of sight unless you have a special permit to go outside of that.
Will you have that?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
will? Okay.
Yeah, they get deployed close to the area where you
Right.
can technically still see and deploy from there.
'Cause I know, go ahead. I was just going to say our terrain's rugged, and it's good that we've got that, because I know when we do our work, we're out on mountains, and sometimes you just can't get there. We use GPS now, and I don't know how we did it before, but it was hard. So I can imagine how much better this is going to be. Go ahead, Jennifer. Sorry.
No, just, do you have certain training or certification to fly that?
Yeah,
Have you completed, there's somebody completed that already?
Yeah, we have one person on staff, and then we have two others. So we have two others to fall back on if somebody's not available. So we do have the pilot's license to operate.
Great technology, for sure.
And I will say one more thing. The one that we're getting, it's kind of brand new, hitting the drone market, so to speak, has a lot of new features. And a lot of these are actually headed to Ukraine. So we've got one with our name on it that's said we'll get it, but he said pretty much if we didn't get it, that it would be headed to Ukraine. So that's where most of those are going right now.
Just another question too, Travis, I thought of. I guess you could use this in like a high threat situation too on the law enforcement side. You know, if you had somebody running or possible, like I said, a high threat, you could use it as well.
You could, and you're seeing, I think Waynesville PD's got a couple. To my knowledge, they've not added any thermal capabilities to theirs. Maybe wrong in saying that, but don't know that they have. So that will be available to them and anybody else that needs them. If they don't have thermal, if it's nighttime, you might as well leave it on the ground because you're not going to see anything.
Okay.
Thanks, Travis. Appreciate you keeping us on the cutting edge, sounds like.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that's a good question, Brandon. I'm glad you asked that because I can explain it. Is there any other items on there that we need to clarify or anything? Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion. We approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Any other questions or comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, that's unanimous. Okay, we'll move. Next order of business is our regular agenda. And the first item of the regular agenda is to request approval of an increase of the Consumer Price Index for Consolidated Waste Services, LLC, for the management of the convenience centers and material recovery facility, not to exceed $87,868 to be paid from fiscal year 2022-2023 budgeted funds, and approval for county manager to negotiate, amend, and sign the amendment to the restated convenience center service agreement reflecting said increase. And we have this Consolidated Waste Service President Scott Welch here today. Mm-hmm. And I believe you're a daughter. I'm sorry. What's your name? I'm sorry.
It's Morgan Alexander.
Morgan, okay.
Yes.
Right. So Morgan, you're taking over for Dad, is that it?
I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I
He's
like
throwing
family
me
business.
into the lion's den.
Keep it in the family.
Yeah. So thank you for letting me have the time this evening. A couple of weeks ago, we met with the Solid Waste Advisory Committee, where we just reviewed of course, the increasing cost across the board. We discussed about how we have 48 full-time employees and 13 part-time employees. We also discussed about the increases in health insurance, employee contributions with 401k. We also discussed about the main reason for this request for the additional, I think it's 4.9%, is due to employee retention and, of course, equipment cost. The average cost for a compactor these days has now increased over 33%. We haven't asked for an increase over the 3% CPI since we've began working with Haywood County, so that would be 2004. And just given really employee retention, increased manpower, new equipment, I mean, I was telling Brandon, we were talking about tires and the increased cost of tires, fuel, it's across the board. So that is why we are requesting for the increase.
Okay. Hey, Brandon, you and Tommy are on that committee. Did y'all want to say anything?
No, we did meet with them. I guess it was last week or the week before. My time's running together the older I get, but she's right. They haven't asked for an increase in quite some time. Even when gas prices rose up last time, they didn't ask for the increase. And then what I will say about them is they was very helpful. I know during the flood, if we called and asked for something special, they've always been gracious and helping us with that. And I understand, I hate to admit it, but I do understand the cost rising and, you got to adjust from time to time. I mean, you run a business to make money, so I understand that more than anybody, I guess. And so I appreciate the relationship that we do have with CWS and what they do for us. So with that, I don't know if Tommy's got anything to add.
Yeah, just echoing what Commissioner Rogers said. We did meet with these folks, and we're in unprecedented times right now as far as inflation and input costs, and you have been very good. I know during the flood you were asked to take some dumpsters out, and before the day was over, you had them in place for those folks, and easy to work with. So just a matter of doing business, and I understand employee retention. I know the struggles that you go through, and it's just a sign of the times. I mean, we're in a tight spot, and with inflation the way it is, cost of fuel.
The employees that you talked about, those are the ones just for Haywood County, the 48 and 13? Okay. Are we primarily, do you work in other counties? I was just curious.
As a convenience center in Murph, no, Haywood County is the only one that we do take care of the sites in the Murph.
Okay. Okay. Is there any other questions for more? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion. We approve item 1 of the regular agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second? Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, that's unanimous. Okay, thank you. Okay, item 2 of the regular agenda is to request approval of the Haywood County Public Library Strategic Plan for 2022 through 2027. And our library director, Kathy Vossler, is back up. Hey, Kathy.
Hello.
So,
The North Carolina Public Library Standards from the State Library of North Carolina provide relevant yet flexible community-based standards to guide North Carolina libraries in providing quality service based on community needs. One of the key indicators of a sustainable organization includes planning, and the State Library of North Carolina has established a basic indicator of success. The development of a comprehensive strategic plan identifying strategies for achieving goals and objectives based on community needs and interests. In addition to developing the plan, reporting to the board to ensure the plan is carried out and progress is being made are exemplary indicators of success. As stated by the State Library, in addition to managing the day-to-day concerns of the library community, libraries must continually assess both the changing needs of their stakeholders and the changing delivery mechanisms of service. Technology, evolving expectations of libraries, and natural and community health disasters demand forward-thinking planning that builds upon community and library traditions. I believe we have developed an effective plan, one that is flexible and adaptive to changing conditions and community needs. I'm seeking your approval of the 2022 to 2027 strategic plan to inform library services for the next 5 years.
anybody, any comments or questions? Here none, I'll entertain a motion. We approve item 2 of the regular agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any questions or comments at all? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
Okay, then item number 3 is a request approval of a resolution honoring Deputy Carlos Russell Bryson for 17 years of law enforcement service, awarding his issued badge and sidearm. And we have our Chief Deputy, Jeff Haynes, here to speak to that.
Good evening, Commissioners. Come before you this evening to ask for the passing of the resolution to honor the retirement of Deputy Carlos Russell Bryson. As it's stated in front of you, it says, whereas Deputy Bryson joined the Haywood County Sheriff's Office as a Deputy Sheriff in 2005 and held the rank of Detention Officer and Deputy Sheriff, all while serving within the Detention Center, Court Security, and Uniform Patrol Divisions of the Haywood County Sheriff's Office. Whereas Deputy Bryson's service and dedication to the Haywood County Sheriff's Office, the citizens of Haywood County, and his many accomplishments in the field of law enforcement during 17 years of total service are hereby recognized and commended. And whereas under North Carolina General Statute 20-187.2 provides that retiring deputies of the Haywood County Sheriff's Office may receive at the Sheriff's discretion the issued sidearm of such retiring deputy at a price determined by the Board of Commissioners and upon securing a permit as required by North Carolina General Statute 14-402. And whereas Deputy Bryson has served as a member of the Haywood County Sheriff's Offices and retiring from the Haywood County Sheriff's Office effective 1 June 2022. So now therefore be it resolved that the Haywood County Board of Commissioners as follows. Sheriff Greg Christopher is hereby authorized in accordance with the provisions of North Carolina General Statute 20-187.2 to allow the transfer to Deputy Bryson the badge worn by him during his service with the Haywood County Sheriff's Office, and transfer to Deputy Bryson his issued service sidearm, a Glock 9mm Model 45, serial number as follows, BTU M758, at the agreed price of $113.90 upon the securing of a permit as required by North Carolina General Statute 14-402. And be it further resolved, the Haywood County Board of Commissioners recognizes and thanks Deputy Bryson for his continued service to Haywood County and its citizens. Signed this day, the 20th day of June, 2022.
Okay, anybody have any questions? We do this quite often.
Yeah, I knew Russ. He was bailiff here some as well, and he was very professional. I saw him take care of many rude folks in the courtroom, and he handled them pretty well, and he took his job seriously, and I appreciate what he did.
Thank you for those comments. Any other comments or questions? Okay, I'll entertain a motion. We approve item 3.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any other comments or anything? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 4 is to request approval of the May 2022 tax collections update and refunds. We have our tax collector, Greg West, here today.
Good evening, Commissioners. I hope everyone's doing well. Had a good Father's Day weekend. Mr. Chairman, I would like to request approval of the May 2022 tax collections. As of May 31st, the collection percentage was 97.99%. The amount that we collected through May 31st was $45,608,772.37, with a remaining balance of $936,583.36. We have also collected, taxes past due from 2020 down to 2011 in an amount of over $300,000. So we've had a good year this year so far, I think, and this month is looking okay as well. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Well, that's the highest collection rate, I guess, ever, or maybe on this.
I believe it, to my knowledge, it is the highest collection rate that we've had in May.
Yeah.
We've already surpassed our June collection rate for last year, which was the highest collection rate. We've already passed that now with 8 days remaining. And, it's been a team effort. We have a good staff, Terry Watkins, Emily Sapp, Tanya Bailey, Michael Carver, and Tracy Wells.
Okay.
And it is a team effort. And we appreciate all that the taxpayers, to communicate with the office. If you call and communicate, we always try to work something out. It's when we don't ever hear from anybody, that we have to look at other methods. So,
To tag on to what you said, when we don't hear about things, that's when it's definitely a good job. So I appreciate the job that your office is doing and that you're doing as well. So I don't hear any complaints, and you've got a tough job collecting taxes, and I appreciate what you're doing. You're doing a good job.
Thank you very much.
Tax collection's a fun job, ain't it?
Depends on who you ask.
No, I appreciate you doing a good job as well. I do hear a few comments from time to time. Like Jennifer said, when you don't hear nothing, that's a good thing on our end.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
I have heard a couple of folks, taxpayers, say that they've talked with you, that you've worked with them and so forth, and bragged on you. So we appreciate the job you're doing.
I appreciate it too. I ran to try to do better, than we had last time around, and I believe we've done that. And I look forward to trying to do it for some more.
Okay. Well, I've not had any complaints at all, Greg, so I appreciate your work you've done. I can't say that for the prior guys, so yeah.
Appreciate it very much.
Thank you for your hard work.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion. We approve item 4.
So moved. Second.
Okay. Any other
Either or.
discussion?
That I'll take first or second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, it's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Item number 5 is to request approval of a budget amendment E-911 Fund, $70,438 to appropriate fund balance to the E-911 Special Revenue Fund to cover expenses deemed disallowed by the 911 PSAP Board for fiscal year 2021. We have our Finance Director, Christian Owen. Hey, Christian. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
How's the little guy?
Girl.
Always
She's
gotta-
great.
Well, guys are girls. Okay. I'll say, how's the little gal?
Yeah, there you
Okay.
go. She's wonderful.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Every year we prepare the PSAP report using what we think are allowable expenses, and that gets reviewed every year. The PSAP board got significantly behind, and we reviewed fiscal year 2019, 2020, and 2021 this year. After many hours and back and forth, they deemed $70,438 ineligible for fiscal year 2021. And thanks to Joey, he has helped a lot with this and been in on all these conversations about eligibility, and hopefully, I know this happens, every now and then, but hopefully we won't see a dollar amount like this for a while.
Okay. You might have any questions on that? Okay, I'll entertain a motion. We approve item 5 of the regular agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion at all? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay. Thanks, Christian. Item number 6 is to request approval of a budget amendment for Lake Junaluska grant of $1.5 million to accept and appropriate grant funds from the Office of State Budget and Management for the Lake Junaluska Dredging and Dam Repair Project. Approval of subrecipient agreement between Haywood County and Lake Junaluska Assembly Incorporated, and approval for county manager to execute said agreement and any other documents. So, Bryant, you want to talk about that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In the budget, the state budget adopted in November, the General Assembly provided $1.5 million for the dredging project for Lake Junaluska. Initially, the funds were placed with Department of Environmental Quality and navigable waters, and because of those requirements, Lake Junaluska wasn't able to get everything done they wanted to. So the General Assembly moved those funds from DEQ over to State Budget Office, took some of the restrictions off. So we've got an agreement in place now that will actually be the financial agent, receive the funds, and reimburse Lake Junaluska after they do the work and pay the invoices. So For you, we have the grant, accepting and appropriating the grant, and then a sub-recipient agreement between the county and Lake Junaluska to do the work. It will include dredging the lake and doing some repair to the dam.
Okay. Any questions for Bryant?
Bryant, you probably don't know the answer to this. Someone may know. How often is this done? Is it like once every 5 years or so this has to be done? I can't recall. I know we've done it. It's been done multiple times since I've been a commissioner, but I don't know exactly.
I get the feeling it depends. It's in that 3 to 5 year range, depending on how quickly it fills with sediment.
Yeah, but it's amazing how much sediment comes down that creek that goes in that lake.
I think they do it almost every year. Seems.
Do they?
Yeah.
We do it every year.
Yeah, almost.
To this extent?
Maybe not to this extent, but they do drain it and dredge it.
I mean, things mixed together, and I just was kind of wondering.
I'm sure this will give them a lot more dollars than they've had in the past.
I think what's, besides the dredging, being able to drain it to do some work to the dam, is critical.
Yeah, the dam's
probably
it's a fairly prominent issue to deal with. Or otherwise we don't have Lake Junaluska.
Yeah, that's true.
But basically, this is just pass-through funding. Came from state legislature. It's kind of pass-through funding with you.
We will require Lake Junaluska to show us that they've paid invoices before we reimburse, because we are the financial agent. So if we don't get it right, the county could be on the hook for the funds. So we're making sure that everything is squared away.
Right.
Okay. Okay, I'll entertain a motion. We approve item 6.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, it's unanimous. Okay, our next order of business is appointments, but we do not have any. And the next order of business is closed session. And we do have a closed session to approve closed session minutes. And that's 143-318.11A1. So I'll entertain a motion. We go into closed session.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, we'll be in closed session when we enter the chambers in the back. Thank you. Okay. Okay, we've returned from closed session to open session, and I'm going to read some minutes that we need, closed session minutes that we need to act on. Okay, the first is I'll entertain a motion to approve and release closed session minutes from October 4th, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. I'll entertain a motion to approve but review for a release at a later date, attorney-client privilege 143-318-11A3 from October 18th, 2021 and December 6th, 2021. Economic Development 143-318-11A4, October 4th, 2021, December 6th, 2021, February 21st, 2022, and April 4th, 2022. So I'll entertain a motion that we approve but review for a release at a later date for these.
So moved.
Second.
And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next is the motion to not release closed session minutes approved at various previous meetings. Attorney-client privilege 143-318-11A3, and that's from January 17th, 2017, February 6th, 2017, March 6th, 2017, January 22nd, 2019. I'll entertain that motion at this time.
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. The next is the motion to release closed session minutes approved at various meetings. Attorney-client privilege 143-318-11A3 from February 21st, 2011, March 21st, 2011, June 6, 2011, July 18, 2011, March 21, 2016, March 20th, 2016, August 15, 2016, January 22nd, 2019, and then acquisition of real property 143-318-11A5 November 18th, 2019, December 2nd, 2019. Economic Development, 143-318-11A4 from April 4th, 2016, May 16th, 2016, July 18th, 2016, March 18th, 2019, April 1st, 2019. I'll entertain that I'll repeat that. Motion to release closed session minutes approved at previous meetings.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. I think that's all of them, right, Tracy? Is that okay? Okay, so does anybody have any other business before the board or any comments?
Just a comment, I'd like to go on record as saying our technical guys, Joey Webb and Ryan Hips, done a fabulous job with the difficulties that they encountered 10 minutes before the meeting started tonight. So if you watch this, it may not be as good a quality, I think, said earlier, but they did scramble and were fast on their feet and made a quick recovery. So thank you, guys.
Okay, yeah, ditto that. Okay, and I will make an announcement that this is a reminder that the next regularly scheduled Board of Commissioners meeting will be on Monday, July 18th at 5:30 p.m., and there will not be a morning meeting during the month of July. This is our only meeting. So, is there any other business? Okay, I'll entertain a motion, we adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you.